Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, vital medical supply lines are at risk, it's been suggested, if the UK leaves the EU without a deal. Brexiteers have dismissed such concerns as Project Fear. In Wales, the NHS has secured extra warehouse space to stockpile essentials, and one major UK hospital food supplier says it spent £5 million on Brexit preparations. Our health and social care correspondent Victoria MacDonald has been to see how the NHS is getting ready for Brexit.
A warehouse somewhere in Wales. We're not allowed to say where. It's top secret. Because this is where the Welsh Government is stockpiling everything a hospital or care home needs that can't be supplied from the UK. And there's a lot of it.
This really is the law of unintended consequences. Who knew? Behind me, big tins of baked beans, non-woven swabs here, and I think here is some loo paper, and up here some surgical drapes. All of this has to be brought in from the European Union to keep the NHS supplied.
This warehouse and its contents have cost the government in Wales £4 million. They moved in 2 months ago as the prospect of a no deal or a hard Brexit loomed larger. Syringes, needles, urine collection tubes, wipes, latex gloves. You can see it on the side of the boxes. Sweden, Poland, Belgium and elsewhere.
In the event of a no deal or a hard Brexit, how long can you keep hospitals supplied?
Well, our normal stock holding is about 4 weeks. This will represent an additional 8 weeks on top of that.
Some of these things people will be tempted to stockpile themselves, won't they?
If people create an artificial crisis, then we do have a problem. So if people just behave and do things in the normal way, then everything should be fine.
There are warehouses like this now across the 4 nations, except for drugs and medicines, which are being stored centrally, somewhere equally secretly in England. Pharmaceutical companies have been asked to stockpile their own extra 6 weeks' supply for drugs like insulin. And yet still there remains uncertainty that this is all not enough. The government in Whitehall says they have made plans for the continuity of supplies, but they've had to add the phrase, "we never give guarantees." And today, the Welsh Health and Social Services Minister said people need to know that this is the consequence of a no-deal Brexit.
This is the size and the scale of the facility that we've had to buy with real money that would not have been spent in that way, and that's the honest truth of it. And here are the sort of things that we're having to store to make sure that in the United Kingdom, with the 6th largest economy in the world, we're still having to stockpile these items to make sure that our system could carry on delivering basic care if we leave the European Union without a deal.
Patients also have to eat. Appetito, just outside Bristol, has spent an extra £5 million. 1 million more frozen meals, and they've doubled their raw materials. Frozen spinach comes at a price. This warehouse at -25 supplies 75% of the UK's meals on wheels, 500 care homes and 20% of hospitals.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go. We got the stocks in the warehouse, you can see behind us. We got our 8 to 9 weeks worth of stock. That's over 5 million meals we've got there ready to go if we have to. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be pleasant, but we're as well placed as we can be.
What's the bit that you're worried about?
I suppose no deal. What Appetito, in common with many other food manufacturers and other businesses out there, are after is frictionless trade. That's absolutely critical in terms of our ongoing business.
The Department of Health says they are confident that if everyone does what they need to, there should be no impact on patients, whatever the EU exit outcome. But take the bolognese in storage here. The spaghetti, well, obviously that's from Italy. In fact, all the ingredients are from Europe except the beef. And beef alone does not make a meal.
Victoria MacDonald.